Coming up, a fire in Perry County guts a house and leaves a family with next to nothing. And officials in Clay County decide to do something about illegal dumping in the area. Plus, people in the Daniel Boone National Forest are leaving behind a mess after target practice.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6:30 on Wednesday, February the 20th. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for watching Mountain News this morning. It's going to be a wet one. That's why we are in another severe weather alert day. Let's bring Brandon in this morning so he can give you a better breakdown of what to expect as you step out the door to head to work or school. Brandon?
Dry for now for most locations, Will, but it is going to pick back up as early as later this morning, maybe by 7, 8, 9 o'clock. So we're going to continue to watch that trend. Let's take a look at the cameras first. Pikeville Medical Center over downtown Pikeville this morning, and a beautiful shot there. It's been raining off and on throughout the night there and back here in Hazard outside the WYMT studios as well, but it looks like a little bit of light trying to break there behind the clouds across the sky. But you see all that rain moving into parts of southern Kentucky and out towards central Kentucky. Taking you a little close up toward Moorhead, over toward Moorhead and Morgan County, and over toward Elliott County, seeing some pretty good rain this morning. So just be careful if you're heading up that way toward the Mountain Parkway and I-64 corridors. And then we go back out toward Bowling Green and toward Lexington and Danville. All that rain moving in this general direction. Visibility pretty rough in the areas that are seeing that heavy rain, especially up toward central Kentucky and northeastern Kentucky. Temperatures still cool up there, but down close to the border, 50 degrees in Monticello this morning, 40s all the way up toward Hazard and Pikeville. You see the wind shifting there as that system tries to work its way in, and we're seeing temperatures much warmer this morning because of that, pulling that warm air in from the south. Almanac for today, 58's your high. The average high for this time of the year is 49. 80 was the record set this day last year back in 2018. The rest of the forecast is on the way here in just a few minutes. Will?
All righty, Brendan, thank you. Well, the body of a Knox County woman found Monday morning has been identified as Shannon Harkins Womble. She was first reported missing on February 12th after her car was found abandoned off Ed Harp Lane just outside of Barberville. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talks to family members about Womble's being found.
After her disappearance, with little information about where she could be, Shannon Harkins Womble's family searched for answers.
My son asked me to come up here looking for his mom, where they found the car at.
On Monday morning, landowner Jay Messer says that's when Shannon's family asked if they could search on his property.
And look around for artifacts or anything I could find that maybe belonged to her. I said, sure, go right ahead.
And I was up on this bank behind me. When I looked down, I said, come on down the hill here, and it looked like a body. When I got down the hill, now I did, that's what I started squatting.
The search was over. Sean Smith found Shannon in the creek.
I said, let me get there for my son finds her. I didn't want my son to see his mom like it. I just didn't.
And now, police say the autopsy on Tuesday didn't give much new information, leaving Shannon's loved ones at a loss and just wanting to know what happened.
I just hope justice comes for her and peace for my son, so he knows what really happened to his mom. That's what I hope.
Looking for closure and justice for Shannon. In Knox County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, police say there will be a toxicology report in the coming weeks that will hopefully give more insight into her cause of death. Meanwhile, an escaped Bell County inmate is back behind bars this morning. Middlesboro Police Department officials received a tip that Rocky Howerton was hiding at the home of Brooklyn Clark. When officers arrived, they say Howerton ran out the door. Police chased him and were able to catch up with him. Howerton now faces additional charges of second-degree escape and fleeing or evading police on foot. Clark faces charges for helping Howerton. A fire gutted a home in the busy community in Perry County Monday. The blaze in the single-wide trailer ended up forcing officials to close down North Highway 51. We talked to the family living there. Kelly White said she had just lost her husband and tried to run back in to save pictures of him.
We lost it all. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. I don't know what I'm going to do now.
She needs all the help she can get, you know. And I know this community usually comes together and, you know, pushes and helps.
Now, nobody was hurt in the fire. Highway 451 was reopened shortly after the home burned down. Well, illegal dumping is an issue in Clay County, and officials have decided it is time to take serious action. Judge Executive Johnny Johnson says the city and county has been working together to clean up their community. Last week, he says that on a drive around the county, they found more than 20 illegal dumping sites.
It makes me upset because, like I said, there's a lot of places in Clay County that people would actually enjoy to go look at. We have caves, natural waterfalls. Kincaid's actually a real good place to go. It's actually got beautiful scenery around it, and a lot of it's been trash, people illegal dumping there, and it kind of just heartbreaking because people don't want to take responsibility for the trash.
Now, Kraft says they hope to have all the sites cleaned up in the next year. Meanwhile, people taking target practice in the Daniel Boone National Forest has left behind quite the mess. For now, officials have closed Whitman Branch Shooting Range in Laurel County. They say people have shot through signs, fire extinguishers, and propane tanks, and then just left their shell casings and garbage behind on the ground. Well, West Virginia teachers will strike for a second day today. There were signs the protest may end after just one day. But the educators say they are sending a message to lawmakers by staying out of the classroom and on strike. Omar Jimenez reports.
Ladies and gentlemen, turn off your engines tomorrow.
The statewide teacher strike in West Virginia continues. The strike has centered on a single state bill that would introduce charter schools to West Virginia and allow some public funds to go to private school tuition. It passed in the state Senate, but Tuesday, the state House adopted a motion to postpone it indefinitely, essentially killing the bill.
We're thrilled with the House. The House stood up for West Virginia instead of outside interests. It's a very positive win for the students of West Virginia.
And all of this comes nearly a year to the day after a 9-day strike last March demanding higher pay, but also on the heels of other strikes in education across the country. Just last week in Denver, teachers went on strike for higher salaries.
It was needed. It was overdue in terms of some of the compensation.
And in January, more than 30,000 teachers and staff in Los Angeles walked off the job, demanding smaller class sizes, more school staffing, and higher teacher salaries. Now in West Virginia,
we are staying out one more day to make sure that this is a dead bill tomorrow.
I'm Omar Jimenez reporting.
Now, federal offices in Washington, D.C. are closed today ahead of a massive winter storm. The capital, portions of central Maryland, and portions of central and northern Virginia are under a winter storm warning. Up to 6 inches of snow is expected. Non-emergency federal employees will be given weather and safety leave. Well, a news report alleged President Trump made an unusual request of his acting attorney general while his personal lawyer Michael Cohen was under investigation. CBS News' Mark Liverman has the latest.
President Trump flatly denied a New York Times report that he asked his former acting attorney general to intervene in a hush-money investigation.
Did you ask acting attorney general Matthew Whitaker to change the leadership of the investigation into your former personal attorney Michael Cohen?
No, not at all. I don't know who gave you that. That's more fake news.
The report says President Trump made the request of Matthew Whitaker last year. At the time, Michael Cohen was being investigated for hush money payments to 2 women President Trump allegedly had affairs with. The Times reported Whitaker's relationship with the president soured after he refused to put U.S. Attorney and Trump administration appointee Jeffrey Berman in charge of the Cohen case. Berman had recused himself. In recent testimony to Congress, Whitaker did not say whether he was asked to intervene.
Did you ever have any conversations with anybody about reassigning or firing any personnel, including U.S. attorneys with the Southern District of New York?
Congresswoman, I sit on top of the Department of Justice, as you mentioned.
And on Tuesday, Andrew McCabe, the former FBI acting director, made a startling statement in an interview with CNN.
Do you still believe the president could be a Russian asset?
I think it's possible. I think that's why we started our investigation, and I'm really anxious to see where Director Mueller concludes that.
In response, White House counselor Kellyanne Conway called McCabe a, quote, liar and a leaker. Mark Liverman, CBS News.
Now, Whitaker's role as acting attorney general ended last week with the confirmation of William Barr in the position. Let's toss it over to Brandon at 6:39 this morning.
Well, we're tracking heavy rain up near I-64 at Moorhead. It's been basically raining all night. You see here on the camera some lower visibilities as well. So if you're heading north this morning, be careful of that. Live pinpoint Doppler radar. That rain starting to move in out of Lexington and central Kentucky into the Mountain Parkway and I-64 corridor. That will drift even further east, affecting us here in the next little bit. Pulaski County already seeing a little bit of rain starting to build into the western section of that county. Last few hours on the loop, we're continuing to see that rain move through, and it's going to continue to move through at times throughout the day. Visibility lower where they're seeing some of that rain band, or those rain bands, and we see temperatures climbing steadily. 50 already Monticello, but still in the 30s up toward Jackson and all the way up toward Ashland with the rain. So the forecast for today, right around 58 this afternoon. Maybe some thunderstorms a little bit later today. Nothing severe, but that heavy rain continues to cause concerns as we head into the afternoon hours. Will?
All righty. Well, thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. Coming up, we'll have a pet in our studio looking for a good home from the Kentucky River Regional Animal Shelter.